Welcome to Vanik WBCS live classes on YouTube. Here in this class we shall be focusing on non-constitutional bodies, extra-constitutional bodies. Last class we had completed over the constitutional bodies, and we discussed various provisions for related to constitutional bodies. In this class we shall be on non-constitutional bodies. I told you the difference between the constitutional bodies and non-constitutional bodies. Extra-constitutional or non-constitutional bodies are established not under the constitution, rather under an act especially. So they are called statutory bodies. Some of them are called statutory bodies. Statutory bodies are established by an act of parliament, or you can say of an act of a legislature. There are also certain bodies which are neither established under the constitution nor established under under an act. They are called non-statutory bodies. They are also extra-constitutional bodies, like your Niti Aayog and others. Okay. So in this part we shall be discussing on statutory and non-statutory bodies. We shall be focusing on these bodies first. We will first go to the National Human Rights Commission. Okay, we will first go to National Human Rights Commission. Okay. So remember, whenever an extra-constitutional body is established under an act, any change in the act, any change in the body, any change in the function, composition, structure, even amendments, any amendments in the function, structure, or powers, tenures, everything related to the body can be carried out by parliament or the body which has legislated upon through an amendment process. You might have noticed that there was amendment in the composition of, in the tenure, in the appointment, in the ex officio membership of the National Human Rights Commission recently in 2019. And for that purpose, the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 was again amended. So remember, whenever there is change in the structure, function, powers of any statutory body is required, an amendment to the mother act or the parent act which under which the body is established is a must. That is why it is called statutory body. So abolition of the body will be done if that act is abolished. That will automatically abolish all the institution which was established under the act. Okay. So we shall discuss that. We will discuss several important statutory bodies, non-constitutional bodies, how far they have contributed to the growth of the nation, how far they have contributed to different aspects of our nation, and how far they have strengthened our democracy, how far they have protected our rights, how far they have strengthened democracy, how far they have contributed to the constitutional government, to the continuity of constitutional government in India. This is all about this, the introduction of the statutory bodies. The statutory bodies play a very important role in doing all these things, in ensuring constitutional government, in bringing, in ensuring continuity of constitutional government, in protecting the constitution, in protecting the rights of the people, in giving justice to the people, in working towards a constitutional government, towards a democratic or constitutional government in India. First of all, there are several bodies. Let me just brief it about. There are several bodies like National Human Rights Commission, State Human Rights Commission. There are also Central Information Commission, State Information Commission, National Vigilance Commission. There are also National Green Tribunal. There are several bodies we shall discuss in this part. First of all, we shall discuss National Human Rights Commission. You must have remembered that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights took place in the year 1948 by United Nations. For the first time in the world community or the Committee of Nations vowed to provide protection to human rights across the world. The United Nations, though not a world government, but a guiding spirit behind democracy and human rights, made a historic declaration called Universal Declaration of Human Rights on 10th December 1948. In the declaration, there were several rights, about 30 articles were provided, and it contains several important human rights. You can, you must have the idea that these rights were exclusively meant for all human beings, irrespective of any religion, irrespective of any caste, religion, race, sex or place of birth. All people are entitled to several human rights, right to equality, right to freedom, right to life. Several of them have been accepted as fundamental rights and several of them have not been. So there are fundamental rights which are also called basic human rights. Apart from the fundamental rights, there are also other rights enumerated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Although India is a signatory or a founding member, one of the founding members of the United Nations, and it was also a signatory to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights Convention. But since 1993, it has not taken any viable step or any constructive step towards protecting human rights. Although there were fundamental rights and enforcement of fundamental rights have been entrusted upon the Supreme Court and High Court. But despite having a strong judiciary and an independent judiciary for the protection of rights, basically human rights, there were several instances of gross violation of human rights, not only by the public authorities but also by private individuals in the country. The weaker sections of the society are prone to deprivation of their basic rights. There have been many cases witnessed in the country, and it was heart-rending to note that several human rights of millions of people were openly violated, even by the state, by non-state actors. So with a view to protecting the human rights, with a view to provide justice to the weaker section of the society, with a view to ensuring that human rights are available to one and all irrespective of any basic discriminations, the Government of India, the Parliament of India enacted Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. Under the Act, there has been a provision for establishment of National Human Rights Commission at the center and National and State Human Rights Commission at the state level. Accordingly, the National Human Rights Commission was set up in 1993 under the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. And also the many states or the most of the states have composed or established State Human Rights Commission as an apex body responsible for protection of human rights and avoid or prevent gross violation of human rights by any authority. So National Human Rights Commission is the apex body, statutory body, to look after the basic rights of the people and to take care of and to prevent gross violation of human rights by anybody in the country. How far it has been able or successful in doing that, that is a different question to be asked. But remember that the National Human Rights Commission has been functioning since then or since 1993 as an apex body in the field of human rights. So it was established in 1993 under protection of human rights. It is the watchdog of human rights. Hence it is called the watchdog of human rights in the country. And there has been a substantial changes brought out by the government in 2019 by amending the Act. We shall note all of them serially. So National Human Rights Commission is a statutory body, a non-constitutional body, because it is established under an Act of Parliament, and the name of the Act is Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. Composition. The Commission is a multi-member body consisting of a chairperson and 5 members. Remember, it is 1 plus 5. It is 1 plus 5. It was 3, but in 2019 it was increased to 5. The chairperson should be a retired Chief Justice of India or a former judge of the Supreme Court. Earlier it was only the Chief Justice of India who was eligible to be the ex officio chairperson of National Human Rights Commission. But in 2019 there was an addition, or additional qualification was added, that the Chief Justice of India or a former judge of Supreme Court can be appointed as the chairperson of National Human Rights Commission. For your kind information, the present chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission is a former judge of Supreme Court. Okay. Next is the members. A serving or retired judge of the Supreme Court, or serving a retired judge, retired Chief Justice of a High Court, 3 others have experience and knowledge in human rights. So the 5 members, one would be a serving or retired judge of Supreme Court, and there is a serving or a retired CJ, Chief Justice of a High Court, any High Court of India, and there will be 3 other non-judicial members, judicial members, that will be 3 in number, and one of them must be a woman. So this provision that one of the members must be a woman was added in 2019 after it increased the strength of the membership to 5. Is that clear? Okay. So this is the membership, 5 members, and please take a note of this. Okay, now we shall go to the next page. Appointment of the chairperson and members. The chairperson and members of the National Human Rights Commission are to be appointed by the President, no doubt, but they will be appointed on the recommendation of a high-level committee. It is provided, all these things are provided in the Act, Protection of Human Rights Act. So who are the members of the committee? the Prime Minister of India as its chairperson, the Speaker of Lok Sabha, the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, leaders of opposition in both the houses of parliament like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, then the Home Minister. So 3, 4, 5, 6 members high level committee, because there are two leaders of opposition. Okay. So the Prime Minister will be the chairperson of the high level committee, and apart from that there will be Speaker of Lok Sabha and Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Vice President or the chairperson of Rajya Sabha is not a part of it. And the leaders of opposition in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and the Union Home Minister will be the the members of the high level committee, which would recommend the names of persons to be appointed as the chairperson and members of the Apex National Human Rights Commission. Okay, so it is a 6-member body. Remember, it is a 6-member body, the high level committee. And kindly remember the names of the dignitaries who are a part of the high level committees. They are Prime Ministers, Speaker, Deputy Chairperson, leaders of opposition of the House, and the Union Home Minister will be the chairperson, will be the members. Sorry. Apart from the genuine members, 5 members, and 1 chairperson, there would be some ex officio members. Remember, human rights violation is the responsibility, human rights violation or prevention of human rights violations is not the responsibility of the National Human Rights Commission alone. Rather, it is a facilitators. It provides and works specially for that. But there are other bodies who has also interest. There are violation of national scheduled castes, human rights of the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, women. So different chairpersons of different national commissions are also members of this National Human Rights Commission in order to facilitate or smoothen the work of the things and to work on a positive, on a desirable path. So there are 7 members, but there were 5 members earlier, ex officio members. But after 2019 amendment, the ex officio membership was increased to 7. We'll see who are the 2 other members, 2 other chairpersons who are included as the ex officio members of National Human Rights Commission. We shall discuss that. Okay? So these are the bodies that we will discuss. The chairperson of National Human Rights Commission and chairpersons of National Human Rights National Women Commission, NWC, and chairperson of National Commission on Minorities, Commission of National Commission for a Scheduled Caste, chairperson of National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, and protection of human rights, and Chief Commissioner for the persons with disabilities. Okay, NCBC. So there were 5 members like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and these 6 and 7 were added later. Means the National Commission for Protection, chairperson of the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and the Chief Commissioners for Persons with Disabilities were inducted as the ex officio members of the National Human Rights Commission after the amendment in 2019 was carried out. So earlier there were 5 members as ex officio members, but now we have 7 ex officio members in the National Human Rights Commission. And kindly remember that the chairperson of National Commission for Protection of Child Rights and the National Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities were added in 2019. That means the National Human Rights Commission had a chairperson and 5 official members, and your 7 ex officio members, means they are the chairperson of other bodies. They are also considered to be members of the National Human Rights Commission to facilitate the work of the National Human Rights Commission. Then after the appointment is made, the term is 3 years or 70 years. 3 years or 70 years of the retirement age, because the judges are appointed and their retirement is 65, so the age of retirement of the members and chairperson of National Human Rights Commission is 70, and they will continue for 3 years, whichever is earlier. And before 2019, it was 5 years, but in 2019 it was decreased to 3 years and 70 years. There independent bodies. They cannot be employed under the central government and state government after retirement, but they are eligible for reappointment to the post. Okay. Then removal. The chairperson and the members do not hold office during the pleasure of the president. Rather, they can be removed by the president on various grounds. I mean, on the same grounds in which the members and chairperson of Union Public Service Commission are removed. So the chairperson and members of the National Human Rights Commission are removed by insolvency, on the ground of insolvency, engagement in paid employment outside the commission, infirmity of mind and body, unsound mind, and conviction also. So there are several grounds like insolvency, engagement in paid employment outside the commission, infirmity of mind and body, that is the same, and conviction, number 4. On these 4 grounds, unsound mind is same because infirmity of mind. So on the 4 grounds, the president can remove them, and they can be removed by the president in that way. But whenever they are removed on the ground of misbehavior, a reference will be made to the Supreme Court. After the Supreme Court investigates and confirms the misbehavior of the member or the chairperson, then the president will remove them. So that is also a point, removal. It suggests, it proves that an NHRC is a highly independent statutory body, because their removal is not the pleasure of the president. Rather, he will remove them only on certain grounds, otherwise it's not possible. That is the removal. Okay. Functions. Functions of the commission are obvious because it is the apex body in the matter of human rights in India. And the National Human Rights Commission deals with human rights violations related to the subjects mentioned in the Union list and concurrent list. So National Human Rights Commission deals with Union list and concurrent list as an apex body. It inquires into any violation of human rights or negligence in the prevention of such violation by a public servant. So first of all, it inquires whether the public servants have advertently or willingly become negligent and irresponsive to the sight of human rights violations in the country. So that is also, it made them answerable to the court, to the National Human Rights Commissions. It also intervenes any proceedings involving allegation of violation of human rights pending before a court, so it can intervene in the matter. It visits jail and detention places to study the living condition of inmates and to ascertain whether there have been any custodial torture, custodial deaths inside the jail. So this is a very prime function of the human rights cases, because it is said that human rights are mostly grossly violated inside the precincts of 4 walls of the jails and detention centers. So National Human Rights has got a power to visit the jails and detention centers to assure or to ensure that the living condition of the inmates are at par with human life or human standard. Then to review constitutional and other safeguards for the protection of human rights, like constitutional provisions like the provisions of fundamental rights in part 3 of the constitutions, whether they are properly being implemented, properly being enjoyed by the people, whether substantial measures have been taken to ensure fundamental rights to all citizens or not, whether there have been any lacuna even after the judiciary involvement. So many things will be taken care of by the National Human Rights Commission, and it also reviews the legal safeguards provided for the protection of human rights. To review the factors including acts of terrorism that inhibit the enjoyment of human rights and recommend remedial measures. It also studies the ground realities, why the human rights are violated, what are the reasons for violation of human rights in the country, what are the sources of human rights violations. So all these things it goes into and studies well, and that the factors that inhibit means that prevents the enjoyment of human rights by the citizens, and also recommends some remedial measures to remove the defects. It undertakes and promotes research in the field of human rights. It spreads human rights literacy in the country, make awareness among the people regarding the value of human rights, and people are made aware about their rights by the Human Rights Commission through various campaigns, programs, and your propaganda. Then encourage the efforts of non-government organizations towards strengthening or towards protecting human rights. Rights of the children, rights of the women, rights of the older people, rights of the disabled. There are several NGOs working in this field, so it encourages the participation and involvement and efforts of the non-governmental organizations working in the field of protection of human rights. So the National Human Rights Commission acts as a civil court or acts as a quasi-judicial body in the matter, but it does not have the power to punish or declare punishment for that. It is a high-level body, independent body, no doubt. But as it is a recommended, not a mandatory body, its recommendations are not mandatory or binding upon the government. So as a body, it has failed, or it has been far away from the expectation of the people. It has not been successful in delivering justice to the people, in preventing human rights violation, despite the institution of national human rights. There are the rate of violation of human rights has not been decreasing substantially. So that is a point to be noted. Okay. Anyway, but we are just taking a note of the proper structure and function and composition of the extra-constitutional bodies. Okay, but have a mind to have a review about the Human Rights Commission in the present context. So the first chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission was Justice Ranganath Mishra. Justice Ranganath Mishra was the first chairperson of Human Rights Commission, National Human Rights Commission. Justice Human Rights, the first NHRC chairperson. And the present one is Justice Arun Kumar Mishra. The present incumbent, chairpersons. Kindly take a note of this. Next is State Human Rights Commission. State Human Rights Commission, as I told you, is established under the same Act, Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. It is a multi-member body consisting of a chairperson and 2 members, and it deals with violation of human rights in relation to list 2, means state list and concurrent list. Any matters related to human rights violation of subjects mentioned in state list 2 and list 3 of the Constitution. Composition, as I told you, it is chairperson and 2 members. The chairperson is either a retired Chief Justice or a judge of High Court. Earlier it was only retired Chief Justice, but in 2019 the provision for appointment of a former judge of a High Court was also added to the Act, and it is now that a chairperson of the State Human Rights Commission, for example, Odisha Human Rights Commission, might be or may be a former Chief Justice of High Court or a former judge of the High Court, of any High Court in India, not necessarily the High Court of the state. Members should be serving a retired judge of High Court and a district judge in the state with a minimum 7 years of experience as district judge and a person having knowledge and practical experience in human rights. So it is comparatively smaller body. It acts at the state level as a Human Rights Commission, State Human Rights Commission. Okay? So that is the things, kindly take a note of this. Okay, so likewise Odisha has Odisha Human Rights Commission, Odisha State Human Rights Commission has been established, was set up in the year 2000 and which came into effect in July 2003. It came into effect, and Justice D.P. Mahapatra was the first chairperson of Odisha Human Rights Commission. The Odisha Human Rights Commission came into existence in 2000 and it started functioning in the month of July 2003. So every state has a person, and likewise this composition is varied because state government has no role to play in changing the composition and durations. So appointment of the commission, the chairperson and members are appointed by the governor on the recommendations of a high-level committee consisting of the Chief Minister of the State, Speaker of Legislative Assembly, State Home Ministers, Leader of the Opposition in the Legislative Assembly. So likewise the same composition is provided in the state level also. The Chief Minister is the chairperson of the high-level committee, and apart from the Chief Minister there are Speaker of Legislative Assembly and the State Home Minister and Leader of the Opposition in Vidhan Sabha. And in case the state having a bicameral legislature, the leader of opposition of the House of the Vidhan Parishad and the the chairperson of the Vidhan Parishad will be added as the members. Okay, and another thing, further a serving judge of High Court or a serving district court judge with 7-year experience may be included as a member of the high-level committee. Okay, so it is a very wider body, and it recommends the names of persons to be appointed as the chairperson of this apex state body. Its term is same 3 years and 70 years. No further employment after retirement, that is banned, so it is not unemployment, it is either employment. Is either employment after retirement, so this adds to the independence of the commission. Removal is also the same, although the members of State Human Rights Commissions are appointed by the governor on the recommendation of a high-powered committee, but they are removed by the president in the same ground as the chairperson and members of National Human Rights Commission are removed. The provisions for removal aim at securing autonomy, independence and impartiality in the functioning of the commissions. And as with regards to the functions, they are the same as the Human Rights Commission, so that they do what investigates, inquires and recommends remedial measures, holds the public authority accountable for gross negligence, for his or her gross negligence in preventing human rights violations. So it is the same body, and the difference is that the jurisdiction of the State Human Rights Commission is confined within the geographical boundary of the state, not beyond that. That is obvious. Okay, so there is no need to repeat the function because we have already discussed what are the functions of the National Human Rights Commission briefly. So this can be added to these functions also. Okay. Now we shall discuss the features of NHRC. Have a look at that part. So you must have noticed the changes that made in the act, in the composition and the structure of the National Human Rights Commission and State Human Rights Commission after the amendments. I have just briefed it. A retired judge of the Supreme Court can be appointed as the chairperson apart from the Chief Justice, former Chief Justice. The number of members of the with knowledge in HRs increased to 3, out of which 1 is to be woman. That was means 5-member body, that was increased to 5, from 3 to 5. And the National Commission for Backward Classes, National Commission for Protection of Human Rights and Persons with Disabilities were to be added, reduced the term of 5 years to 3 years. That was there also. Yes, 3 members were added. So earlier there were 5 members. Earlier there were 5 State Human Rights Commission. Okay. So that was the things. Anyway, so the National Human Rights Commissions and State Human Rights Commissions were there, and as I told you that these were the changes brought into effect by after the amendment in 2019. Several factors were added by the Protection of Human Rights Amendment Act 2019. Okay. So now I shall go to The other bodies I told you, the I told you the means I told you that I told you that the human rights bodies and functions. I told you repeatedly that the changes that made by the 2019 Act. So these were the things. And I told you that the Odisha Human Rights Commission was established on 17 January 2000, but it came into effect on 11th July 2003. And Justice D.P. Mahapatra was the first chairperson of Odisha Human Rights Commission. So whenever any question regarding the function, structure of Odisha Human Rights Commission came as a question, then you must answer in this way also. Okay? So we have skipped that Central Information Commission and State Human Rights Commission. Okay? Central Information Commission and State Human Rights Commission. Okay, just a minute. That CBC. So removal of the Central Bureau of Investigation, no. Lokpal. Okay. Lokaayukt, National Commission for Human Rights. State Disaster Management Authorities. Then, okay. So there were Human Rights Commissions, objectives. Okay. So we did not discuss that. National Human Rights Commissions and State Human Rights Commissions we have discussed also already. Removal features. Okay, Judge of High Court can be appointed as the chairperson. That was the last point. Now I shall come to Central Information Commissions. Right to information is an inherent right under Article 21 and under Article 19 as per Supreme Court. In several cases also, the Supreme Court has highlighted the importance of right to information. Right to information is a fundamental right in the under Article 19(1)(a) and also under Article 21. A person has the right to know the functioning of the government and the public utility system, public delivery system, everything related to his or her life. So a person has all the rights. So there has been an information revolution in the country, and to provide security of to the persons and to provide accurate information to the people in the country, Right to Information Act was enacted in 2005, which has been a milestone in the constitutional history of India, in the political history of India. So this body, Right to Information Act, provides for establishment of a high-level body, Central Information Commission and State Human Rights Commission, Central Information Commission and State Information Commission for the protection of human rights, protection of informations, or ensuring right to information to the people. So Central Information Commission is a high-level independent body established under the provisions of Right to Information Act 2005. It is a high-powered independent body. So its establishment is 2005 under the Act. Hence it is called a high-powered independent statutory body. Appointment. The chairperson, the composition of the Central Information Commission is a chairperson and not more than 10 members. So the commission, Central Information Commission, consists of one chairperson and 10, not more than 10 members maximum. The appointment is done by the President on the recommendation of a high-level body consisting of Prime Minister as its chairperson, the leader of a position in Lok Sabha, and any cabinet minister nominated by the president, by the prime minister. So there are 3 members who are included as a member of the committee who would recommend the names of persons to be appointed as the chairperson of the Central Information Commission and chairperson members of the Central Information Commissions. Okay? These are the things, and these are the appointments, and remember they are appointed by the president. Tenure is up to 65 years, not fixed tenure is mentioned also. They will retire at the age of 65. But remember, no fixed tenure. Usually they hold office for 5 years. And the removal of the members and the chairperson of the Central Information Commission are the same provisions applicable to the removal of the chairperson and members of the National Human Rights Commission and Union Public Service Commission. So the chairperson and members of the Central Information Commissions will be removed by the President on various grounds that we have already discussed, on discharge, insolvent, engagement in paid employment outside the Commission, and so many factors, whether conviction and infirmity of mind and body, and also there was a ground for misbehavior, so these are also applicable here. Powers and functions of the Central Information Commission are received. You can know, mentioned in here. You can notice on the screen that it receives and inquires into failures of complaint and submission due to non-appointment of public information officer in the district. So the Central Information Commission inquires into the lacuna or inquires into the failure of submission of complaint or failure of complete submission due to non-appointment of the public information commissions. Every point, every district must have a district information officers who will entertain or receive the complaints from the public, from the general people regarding the violation of right to information. If there is no public appointment officer, officers is appointed, that will be inquired and suggested. Refused any requested information. If a person has been refused any requested information without any viable or without any valid reasons, then that case will be inquired into by the commissions. And if any person has been charged with an unreasonable fees for getting some information, then it will also come under the custody, under the jurisdiction of the commissions. If any incomplete and misleading informations have been provided by the authorities to the people, so that will also be done or inquired into. It can take the matter so moto also, it can take the matter on its own and ensure where the information is being violated. Enjoys the power of a civil code, hence it is a quasi-judicial body. It seeks an annual report from the public authorities, and it also submits a report to the government or to the president annually. So these are the some but important functions of the Central Information Commissions. It is acting as an apex body in providing security of information to the people, which is considered to be fundamental right in Indian Constitution under Article 19 and 21. Okay. Then I have noted the possible the first chairperson of the first Central Chief Information Commission Wajahat Habibullah, and the first woman Chief Information Commissioner, he was Deepak Sandhu. Then again Sushma Singh was also accredited. Please take a note of that. Okay, students. So first, now the present chairperson was Yes Bardhan, isn't it? Yes Bardhan Kumar, S. Bardhan Kumar Sinha, YK Sinha. YK Sinha is the present Chief Information Commissioner of India. Present CIC, Chief Information Commissioner of India, CIC of India. Okay? That is all about your informations, but they have not been satisfactory. It is functions has not been satisfactory. Obviously, they are not mandatory bodies, they are advisory bodies, so their actions might not have been paid attention. Then likewise, the State Information Commission is also established under the Right to Information Act 2005. Under the same act, it entertains complaints and appeals pertaining to offices, financial institutions, public sectors. As you can see on the screen, I have noted it down. It has maximum 10 members and 1 chairperson by the governors. The appointment is done by the governors on the recommendation of a high-level committee consisting of chief ministers of the state and the leader of the opposition in the Legislative Assembly and state cabinet ministers nominated by the chief ministers. So, chief minister of the state and the leader of oppositions and any union state minister, cabinet minister nominated by the chief ministers will man the committee, and they will recommend the names of persons to be appointed as the chairperson and members of the State Information Commission. There is no prescribed qualifications for the appointment of the chairpersons and members. Rather, they should be from different walks of life like journalism, law, science, technology, social service, management, journalism, mass media, etc. So that the act proposes to have a multidisciplinary, multi-member body, and people from different walks of life will represent in the commission, will have their representation in the commission, so that everybody can contribute to the efficacy of right to information, right to know in the country. So that has been considered a basic human rights in India by the Supreme Court. So various constitutional cases related to violation of right to information are there. You can take a note of that. And the tenure is also considered 65 years. Salaries and allowances are determined by the central government. And I have noted that Dr. D.N. Padi is the first Chief Information Commissioner of Odisha State Information Commissions, located in Bhubaneswar. Okay, so these are the bodies we have already discussed. Today we have started these bodies, so these are very important bodies in India. Harper critically examined the activities and the functioning of the bodies. That will be different part of the story. But you have to locate what are the news that you come across in your daily readings. So kindly take a note of those points and add to your writings here. You have to be updated regarding the functioning, regarding the changes that are being made by the government in day-to-day changes that are brought or infused into the acts. You have to take a note of all these changes and accordingly substantiate your answer. Okay? So remember, we are just giving an introduction. We are just discussing the structure, function and composition of the bodies. But what is the utility of these bodies? That is a different question. Okay, whether they have been able to do or to perform up to the expectation of their up to the expectation of the people, whether they have been fully independent body or whether there are certain lacuna in making them independent. So we'll discuss all these things in a very well different manners. We have also several bodies, National Human Rights Commission and other bodies also. We have also Central Vigilance Commission, National Green Tribunal. There are several bodies, we have taken note of that. we'll take a note of that and we'll discuss. But your duty or your work is just to collect the information as far as possible, and always keep a sharp eye on the current developments in the country which are related to these bodies, and kindly take a note of these bodies and add it while substantiating your answer regarding the efficacy of these bodies. I have read somewhere that there have been many lacuna in the bodies, because no such, for example, in case of Central Information Commission, no such prescribed qualification is provided for the appointment of the chairperson and members of the Central Information Commission. And also regarding National Human Rights Commission, there have been described as teethless body. So whether they are capable of doing that things as they are expected, or many amendments, many changes are required to have a strong independence nature of the bodies. So please keep in mind all these things and accordingly be thorough about it. In the next class, we shall be discussing about other bodies, and also we'll discuss possible questions related to non-constitutional bodies in India. Okay, so students, thank you very much for watching me and watching the Vanik YouTube live show. You are watching later probably, but have your participation, have your views on these initiatives taken by the mega institutions Vanik. So it is your contribution that will make our effort more and more useful for the generations to come. Okay, so thank you very much for watching us, and we'll be bringing the next part of this in the due class in this week. Thank you very much. Raghu,